I'm attorney Paul Whalen from Afford Law. At Afford Law, we practice criminal and family law throughout Massachusetts. Our fees are all based on your income, so the less you make, the less you pay. Today, I want to take a moment to talk to you about arrest warrants in Massachusetts. Arrest warrants are something different from a search warrant. Search warrant we've addressed before in other episodes. That's when the police are trying to search your person, your car, your house, things along those lines for evidence. Arrest warrants are just what they sound like. They are orders from the court empowering the police department to place you in custody and hold you in jail and bring you before a judge or a magistrate. And there are three basic types of arrest warrants that we typically see in the district courts in Massachusetts. One is a straight warrant, another one is a default warrant, and the third one is a probation warrant. They all arise out of different circumstances, but they all are similar in that they do empower the police to place you under arrest. So the first one is a straight warrant. That happens if you don't show up for your arraignment. So let's say that you are arrested and released, or you receive a summons to be in court for an arraignment and you don't show up. If you don't show up, a straight warrant will likely issue for your arrest. A lot of times we see this happen in summons arrests. So sometimes when you get into trouble with the police, you're not arrested on the scene. They will send a summons to you at your address, at the last known address, instructing you and ordering you to appear before the court on a specified date. A lot of times we see that the client doesn't get the summons. They've moved to a different address. It doesn't get forwarded, or whatever it might be. Maybe your neighbor's stealing your mail on you, whatever it could be. In any case, you don't show up, and a straight warrant issues for your arrest. A lot of times that is explainable to a court. So if you get brought in and you need to explain why you didn't show up for your arraignment, it could very well be that you weren't put on notice because you did not receive the warrant. The second kind of warrant is a default warrant. This is judged more harshly, if you will, by the court. So what happens is you've been arraigned and you've had at least that one court date, possibly more. Whenever you have a court date, you're instructed to return to court on another date for another event. If you don't show up for court on that date, a default warrant will issue. And the reason that it's viewed more harshly than a straight warrant is that the court knows that you've been put on notice because you were in court and you were told of the next date. Oftentimes people, don't write it down, or they get the dates mixed up with something else, or whatever might be. But if you get picked up on a default warrant, it's going to be looked upon that you're not obeying the court's order, and it may well be that the Commonwealth at that point would ask for bail on your case, or an increase in bail on your case, because it doesn't look like you're showing up for court when you're supposed to. One of the things a court will look to when making that decision, whether to set bail or even hold you in custody, is if you have a history of defaults. So if you have a number of defaults on your record, it's looking to the court like you're not taking things seriously, and that you're not to be trusted. You may be a flight risk. In any case, you're not giving the court their due respect, and could very well set a bail or a higher bail on you. So that's why default warrants are considered a little bit more onerous, if you will, than a straight warrant. And the third kind of warrant is a probation warrant. So what happens is, if you're on probation, or if you are under conditions of release, on pretrial conditions of release. So either you've finished the case and you have been placed on probation and you have a probation officer, or perhaps at your arraignment, the judge ordered conditions of you. So the judge didn't hold you in custody. They released you and they ordered you to do or refrain from doing certain things. Refrain from doing certain things, typically refrain from alcohol use, drug use, and you could be told to stay away from particular people, don't have any contact with the alleged victim or somebody else in the case. If your probation officer feels that you're in violation of your conditions, either pretrial conditions or probation conditions, they will go before the court and they will ask for a warrant to have you brought into court. In that case, the police still can go out and arrest you and bring you into court on the next time the court is open. So that's what a probation warrant is. In all the cases, sometimes the police will go out looking for you. Sometimes the warrant will just lay dormant in the system, and it'll just wait until either you find out about it Or let's say that you've been pulled over for speeding or some sort of motor vehicle violation. They take your license, they run you through the system. It's at that point that a warrant pops up, and then you would be placed under arrest to be brought to court on the next time the court is open. Keep in mind that if that happens on, say, a Friday night, court's not open for the weekend, so you could very well be held in custody for that period of time. And if it's on a long weekend, a 3-day weekend, then you're going to be looking at 3 days in jail before you can get to court on the following Tuesday. So it's very important to avoid warrants at all times. If you find out that you have a warrant, the best thing is to contact an attorney and get into court as soon as possible, and come up with a reason to explain to the judge why you weren't in court when you're supposed to be, or on a probation warrant. That's not the same thing, but you definitely want to make a defense so that you can argue to be released, and then carry on your case further on down the line. So those are the three basic types of arrest warrants in Massachusetts. As I say, at Afford Law, we do practice criminal and family law throughout Massachusetts, and our fees are based on your income, which makes it more affordable to the hardworking men and women of Massachusetts. Please feel free to visit us at affordlaw.org and book a free virtual appointment with me. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about arrest warrants, criminal law, or family law in Massachusetts. Because at Afford Law, we're making justice affordable. Thank you.